So I've noticed something that I don't like about this road trip. I've
Yeah.
noticed that and I noticed it. One of the prime examples we keep talking about is like in Grand Teton.
Yeah.
I noticed there's a lot of days where, I don't feel grateful
Interesting. Yeah.
for the experience that I have,
Yeah.
and do you know what the word blasé is?
Stretch of it. Yeah.
At least you know like the context clues.
Yeah.
Like it's become so blasé
Yeah.
and like so normalized with the way that I'm living life right now that like I have to
Yeah.
consciously, and I want to know if you've experienced this either, but I have to like consciously check in with myself and be like, hey, listen, motherfucker, you've been on a road trip for fucking 5 months.
Yeah.
Like this isn't a normal fucking thing. This isn't something that everyone gets to do. Like you've traveled more in 5 months
Yeah.
than most people get to do in their lifetime. Like you be fucking appreciative of that.
Yeah.
But I've noticed like within myself, I'm like, it just feels so normal
Yeah.
that I've kind of lost gratefulness. Have you
Yeah.
experienced that at all?
I wouldn't. That's like so good to hear because I don't feel like I'm not grateful or thankful every day. I almost don't even recognize that feeling anymore. Like, if that makes sense. Like, I'm just like every day is as it comes.
Yeah.
And I'm almost like forgetful to thank the previous day. Like, I'm almost forgetful to be like, wow, like I am living this lifestyle.
Yeah.
What's been like shocking to me lately is like I almost feel like my memory is overloaded. Like
I could totally see that.
Yeah, like every day there's like today with you guys was such an epic day.
Thank you. I thought so too.
Yeah, like just like
dude, we
randomly-
literally we fucking summited last of the day
yeah,
in a fucking win,
yeah.
and now we're recording a podcast.
And,
Pretty
like,
fucking chill day.
Ate some carrots on top of a peak. Like it was a great day, and it's like
Summited a fucking 10,000-foot mountain
Yeah.
with no fucking problem.
yeah.
Like I did not expect that summit to be that easy.
No.
Super fucking
yeah,
cool.
Go do it if you
Super
want an
cool
easy
day.
Summit, yeah.
I think it's weird when you have a fucking amazing day
Yeah.
every single day in a row for
Yeah.
like a long time. Like your days aren't really amazing anymore. And like
Yeah.
what I think it is like if you work a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, right? You have 5 days that hopefully you do enjoy.
Yeah.
But if you don't, I
You
mean,
have an epic
whether
weekend,
you do or
yeah.
whether you don't, you're gonna have an epic weekend. And if you go on like a 2-day trip to the woods, like you appreciate that so much more. And it's like, oh, it feels so good to be out in the forest and not in the
Yeah.
office, you know? When you're out in the forest every day, to me, the forest just feels like the office.
Yeah.
Like to me, the forest,
Oh, so I wouldn't get that. The forest feels more like home to me, like not the office.
for me, it just feels like just a normal day. And
Yeah.
and that's what I was realizing at Tahoe is I was like, dude, like I'm in one of the prettiest places
Yeah.
in the country without a doubt.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel, maybe not that it feels like an office,
Yeah.
but it doesn't feel special.
So I would say I don't necessarily always get those feelings. Like I continue to be blown away.
Mm-hmm.
I think is how I describe it. Like Colorado wound up being like way better than I anticipated. And then I went to Grand Tetons and I was like, holy heck, like these are the Grand Tetons, cried. Then I went to Glacier and hiked Highline Trail and it was like
Such a badass trail.
badass beyond belief. Like 18
Did you go all the way to the
18
glacier?
miles. We did all the way up to the glacier and then to like the
Oh,
like,
you're right.
yeah.
You did the full loop, right?
We did like 18 miles in one day.
Fuck.
Wild. And it was like I would say the second best trail in my entire life.
All right, you got it real quick.
Machu Picchu, I did Salcantay.
Of course. Okay.
Was number one.
Not even gonna.
Hard to beat.
All right. Very
Anyways,
hard to beat. Yeah.
and then I jump over to like Olympic and we do a backpacking trip there and it's just like wild the difference and it's just gorgeous, whatever. And then I go to Cascades and like another epic hike. And then I go down to Yosemite and it's like granite everywhere, like granite like I've never seen before. Like you look at El Capitan and you're like, damn.
It's
like,
the
that's
best place
sick.
on earth, in my opinion.
Yeah, so it's just like amazing that like I'm going to all these places and I'm just like still continuing to be blown away. Like, yeah, not to shit on, where are we?
Lassen. Yeah.
I always want to say Lassen Volcanic National Park.
You might be right. I think we're both right. It could be
Yeah,
either
yeah,
or.
exactly. Tetons versus what you say.
Tetons.
Tetons. Lassen. But like today, like views wise didn't blow me away, but like the fact that I ran into you guys and like all that stuff like blew me away, you know?
So here's what I've been pondering.
Yeah.
Because what I've been thinking is like levels, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You just went to Yosemite.
Yeah.
Imagine if you just spent a month in Yosemite, then you came here.
Yeah.
This place is badass.
Yeah.
But if you came here after a month in Yosemite where you're at like level 10,
Yeah.
then you come to here, which is like level, I mean, it's a good like level 6 or 7. It's better than The Office, right?
Oh, okay. Compared to Office. As
Yeah.
like national parks levels, I'd say this place is a little bit low in my book. But I think where you're going, like, but my experience with you guys today made it a higher level.
No, where I was going with that is like if you get so used to going to all the most beautiful
Level
trails
9s,
in the
level
world,
10s,
all
yeah.
the 8s, 9s, 10s,
Yeah.
when you go back to a 3 or a 4, do you think you would enjoy it?
So I think I have a very like peppy dog view of nature. Like I'm constantly just like, oh my gosh,
there's trees.
like look at this trail. Like, did you see that squirrel? Like, so I think I just like I have that like kind of view of nature already, where I'm like, I don't think I'm ever not going to be appreciative of it. My fear though is like the memory concept that I was going through, like. And the way that Colorado already seems like it's like a fleeting thing for me. And that was in July. Like that wasn't even like a handful of months ago. But it feels like I've lived like 7 lives since then.
I'm so glad you're saying that. I totally agree.
Yeah. And like I'm like there are days in Colorado where I know something made me smile. Or I know something like made me like make that day memorable. And it's like I can look back on it or like read my journal entry that day about it. But it's like it's not going to come back to me, you know, like
Yeah.
the way...
So do you think you're like retaining your memories?
Like, that's what I'm like. I think what you were saying, like, with so much going on right now, like so much stimulus in a road trip, like I'm almost fearful, like it's too much, and that like I'm not gonna remember that day as perfectly as I would like a 9 to 5 office week, and then going and doing something great.
Yeah.
Because every day is great. So like every day has new memories.
It's such an awesome year to where my complaint is that every day is fucking badass.
No complaint.
Like every day this year is so
That's
fucking
not
awesome,
bad.
and I'm exploring so much new shit and having so many new memories that I can't remember them all. Woe is me.
I called my brother. My brother and I talked like yesterday, and I was like, Nathaniel, I'm just like happy. Like I was like, I'm just like genuinely like very happy with life right now, and it's like that's such an awesome and epic feeling to be like content, you know. And I like to have my biggest complaint be like, I don't think I'm gonna remember the whole trip. Like, what a joke!
Like I've had too many great days in a row.
Yeah, I'm like, man. And then my mom was also really funny because my mom was like, I called her. And I call her like at least once a week, usually more. And I'm like,
nice.
Mom, I just had the most epic day. And she's like, when are you gonna stop saying that? She's like, every time you call me, she's like, you also just said you had the best experience. So like, when are you gonna like? When's gonna be a bad day?
Do you think you need to balance out some good days with a bad day or two?
You know,
like, do you think like the contrast? Like, do you think you need a couple bad days to appreciate the good days?
Yeah, Washington definitely did that for me with the whole like mice in the van, getting the van stuck. Like, I mean, those were a shitty few days. I honestly weirdly enjoyed them in the way that sometimes like bad things can be funny.
Yeah.
And like bad things can be like enjoyable.
You're like, this sucks, but it's gonna be a funny memory.
Yeah, exactly. Like this, like mice suck, but like I mean, I literally captured a mice with a bowl and a plate and like threw it out my door. You know, like
fuck.
That's funny. Yeah, and then like the van getting stuck, terrible in the moment, but like actually pretty good story, and just like I look back and I'll probably actually enjoy that memory. So. I know your question was kind of like, do you think you need the bad to balance out the good? And I'm like, sometimes even the bad during this stuff is like still good.
Yeah. Well, I think you can look at that perspective just generally in life. Like, hey, sometimes the bad is good.
Yeah.
But you could probably get that perspective more if you actually thought that you do need the bad to balance out the good. Like when you're in the bad moments, it's like, hey, well, the good thing about this bad moment is it's gonna make the better moments way fucking better, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I would say, like, I mean, man, like I said, Washington started off rough. Like, going to Mount Rainier, not seeing Mount Rainier because of the rain and the smoke.
Yeah.
But I went back at the end of the month to Mount Rainier. Man, not a cloud in the sky. perfect,
so pretty.
snow capped, like the fall colors
Glacier capped.
everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
glacier capped. Yeah, like fall colors everywhere, and I was like, man, I am so much more appreciative of Mount Rainier right now because I went and I didn't experience it, and I had mice, and there was rain, and my van was flooding. And then now I go back and it's just the most like picture perfect epic like place ever. Like that was cool. Like that was the perfect example of like the bad making the good better.
Well, even in my experience, I can actually start to think about the bad made the good better because we were planning to go from Washington to Oregon to California.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't work. Literally, we got so smoked out
Yeah.
that we just had to abandon Washington. We had to abandon Oregon.
Yeah.
Then we stopped in San Francisco. I picked up my RV. I drove it to Vegas. And then we spent 2 stressful weeks cleaning out the RV, getting it ready for sale, getting the pictures
Yeah.
up. Oh, I don't like that picture. Let's take a different picture. Oh, well, the sun's already down. And just having like a really stressful week. The first day of adventure after that, we went sandboarding at Coral Pink Sand Dunes, which is a place I would absolutely recommend you to go.
What state is that in?
It's near Kanab, southern Utah. It's
Okay,
right on the
awesome.
border of Utah and
Cool.
Arizona. We went there, and it was like the best day I've had in a while.
Yeah.
Like everything just felt so good. But then right after that, shit went back to being blasé.
Yeah.
And I was in Sequoia National Park, and I was like, yeah, these trees are big.
Yeah.